Welcome to my shop again. This is going to be just a real short video on a steady rest. It's a bit unique, but then again, I guess everything in my shop's a bit unique, so this is just to explain what I got and why. The first time I made a large, very large open segment turning, 18 inches in diameter and 35 or so inches tall, I run into a problem. I'd been making them with solid segments, made quite a few, but the first time I did it with an open segment, I got out away from the faceplate that far and getting rings this big, and I really wanted to put a steady rest on it. Of course, I found out right away you don't put a steady rest on open segments. They just jump and vibrate every time a wheel's hit a hole. And I racked my brain for a while trying to figure out how I could do it. And I never come up with a practical way to do it until I realized I didn't need to do something to the turning. I need to do something to the steady rest. So what I did was take off the roller blade wheels like this and throw them away. And I went and got me some skateboard wheels similar to this. This is a skateboard wheel, which is flat across the bottom. And then what I did was turn two rings together, two rings that sit together. I turned them round and then made a little flat place right in the center of them so it overlapped both rings, maybe just a quarter of an inch. Now I'll show you what I mean here. If it was these two segments, I would put a quarter of an inch here. Let's do it with something. Let's say this is just a hypothetical turning, a little exaggerated, but let's say I wanted to put the steady rest right here across these two rings. First I'd make them round. Then what I would do is cut them like this. See if I can make it red so you can see it. Again, this is exaggerated a little bit, so that I would leave a little flat spot between the two rings and cut away the rest. And that way, it leaves wood underneath the wheel at all times. And you just see, it spins just as smooth and nice now. There's absolutely no problem. Now, if I wanted to put the steady rest here, what I would do is use a larger width segments on this ring. Cut some new segments that are larger that I could bring out to the same height as this one. In other words, I would cut them that wide so that the outside diameter is the same as the ring next to it, but the inside diameter still stays the same. And then I go ahead and do it the same way. Just put a little flat spot in the middle. And really that's all there is to it. And it sure does help. When I make big turnings, I really need the steady rest on some of the large turnings, and it does help. Like I said, I don't really need it on this one. I just put it up there to show you how it works. I am going to put the rest on these two rings, not the last ring, but the two before it. First thing I'm going to do is turn them around, just turn them around. Then I'm going to turn a flat spot between them, maybe a quarter inch or so, and then the rest of them I'll turn down just a little bit where the wheels won't hit them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, it's round now. Now I'm going to turn the edges of these two down so that there's just a flat spot right in the middle, right across both rings. That should be good. Now let me put the steady rest on and see what happens. I got a steady rest mounted on this. Not because this one really needs it. I need a steady rest for bigger ones at times. But I'm going to show what happens when you put a steady rest on an open segment turning. Everybody knows that's not possible. So let's see what happens when I put power on it. As you can see, it runs just as smooth and nice. It took me a while to figure that one out. And while I got it up here, I also want you to notice that my steady rest is not built like everybody else's. I got a piece of flat steel here on the bottom that allows me to use it on the biggest turnings I make. It'll actually take over a 19.5 inch diameter turning, and I can use it. On the bottom of the steel bar, I've got a bolt welded to hold it. It's as simple as that. I know it's different from everybody else's, but that's the way I want it. Because I do make some big open segment and some big closed segment turnings sometimes. Sometimes that big around out here. And I really like to have a steady rest on them. Well, here is the steady rest. It's quite heavy. It's made from MDF, 2 layers so that I can alternate the seams. On the bottom I've got 3 layers. The steel on the bottom is 1/4 inch by 2 inch. It's got a bolt welded on the bottom to hold it. That's all it is. It's got bolts bolting it on through here to right here, which they seem to be doing a pretty good job. Like I said, I put the flat iron on here so I can accept the largest turnings. I can actually put over 19.5 inch turnings on it. And of course, the flat wheels from the skateboards. And these wheels can be used on regular turnings also. They just ride up on the edge a little bit. So that's it. That's the whole thing. And I hope you enjoyed this little video. And I would sure like to see you come back the next time I make a video. Thank you.